It's matches, and we have our own storylines with it. So if you like kind of like a wrestling organization and things like that, then tune in. You know, me and Mikey are in a rivalry right now, tied up with me and David Awesome, or David Awful, if you ask me. You know, tied up in a rivalry with that. I'm the backyard beatdown champion right now. Friday, actually, I'm defending my belt. So if you want to tune in, if this is the first one coming up, but I'm defending my title, you know, pretty soon. And then also I do, if you're a WWE fan, I do Raw and SmackDown reviews and you know, previews of the pay-per-views and you know, the reviews of the pay-per-views and things like that. Want to start looking into AEW and stuff like that. You know, I hear that's a little bit more, at least to some people, that's a little bit more exciting. I don't know. It really depends on who you are, you know. So there's a wide variety there. You know, I do go back and do old school stuff because I know some people like, you know, the old type wrestling better, like the old pay-per-views and stuff like that. It's not just the new product. It's not just the new product that they put out now, because you know, the new product they put out now with no fans in the audience, you know, not a lot of people are fans of that right now. It's hard to watch wrestling right now with not any fans, and I'll be the first to admit that. And I've been a diehard fan since we were little, so you know. So if you like old school, or if you like wrestling in the backyard, then come to my channel too, because it's a lot of fun, and he does a great job commentating. So
that's www, that is Wrestling with Webby on YouTube. Now the whole point of this, if I'm gonna make these interviews and we're gonna do these things, like, yeah, it's fun, it's a hobby, but I want to get something good out of it. I don't just want to spend this time doing this and not have something positive come from it. As you well know, very well, you've been to 2 or 3 different JAG trips with me, so you've seen firsthand kind of the power of JAG. You've been to Washington, D.C. with me for JAG. You know, I mean, you paid your own way and you went with me. And then you went to the governor's mansion of Missouri and met the governor with JAG. You know, we deal with kids that have barriers, and we've seen things with it change lives. I mean, you've seen people do things that when they started the program, they never would have thought they would have done. And, you know, could you touch briefly on some of the things you've seen? You know, just maybe some of the kids, not the names, but maybe just some of the stuff you've seen about JAG, or your opinion about JAG.
It helps kids. It helps people. JAG helps people. You know, it stands for Jobs for America's Graduates. I said that right this time.
Yes,
you know, I usually when I talk about that, I usually get the name wrong, or what it stands for wrong. That's okay. It helps kids.
Yeah.
It really does. You know, not only in school, but outside school. It prepares them in school for what they're going to do in the future. You know, and then in the future they branch off, but if they branch off and they go to college, or if they branch off and they go to the military, or they have a job once they get out of high school, then you have succeeded and done your job. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what that job is. If they're succeeding in some form or fashion, then you've done your job. And taking them to these trips, if it wasn't for JAG, or if it wasn't for teachers or people out there that help them, then they wouldn't be able to do this. Some kids, because it's not like everybody has the resources to be able to do that.
Right.
You know, as far as the DC trip, you know, some of the kids that, you know, you see, you don't, some of them might not have been able to go on that DC trip if it wasn't for the JAG trip.
Yeah, most of them.
You know, or the Jeff City trip,
Yeah.
you know, who knows? Would they ever have been to Jeff City if it wasn't for
A lot
that?
of them know.
You know, so, you know, Jack does, you know, great wonders with not only just helping, you know, students, you know, get jobs, and then checking up to make sure they have jobs and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, once they get out of school, you know, but, making sure, you know, just like, if I could compare it to anything, you know, I would compare it to, my life, what helped me, up in Columbia and stuff. You know, they help with that kind of stuff too.
Sure.
You know, training people, training disabled kids,
Mhm.
you know, about how to go in for an interview and stuff like that, for jobs. But, JAG, you know, they not only, help kids with jobs, but they let them see the world, and, you know, that does wonders.
That's good. Last question before we break here. You work with kids in high school. You work with kids that are fixing to go off into the world and do things. You know, what's your one piece of advice for kids that are fixing to go and take on the world? Like what would you tell them?
Get a goal, keep with that goal, and accomplish it. Don't give up. You know, don't quit. I mean, that's
That's pretty much
don't
it.
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Don't quit.
Don't quit.
You know, don't quit. You know, find a goal, and it doesn't matter what that goal is. You know, it really doesn't. It can be minor. You know, make sure, you know, just get a goal and accomplish that goal, and, you know, keep thriving every day. You know, you can't, don't let up.
That's great. It's a good piece of advice. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the channel and sharing about yourself.
Oh, you're welcome, and I know I ate up a ton of time, and
No, that's okay. I think it was a great time. Remember, if you guys are interested on YouTube, it's Wrestling with Webby on YouTube. He's got all kinds of stuff. And, you know, we're going to have another segment, or probably at least 6 more segments, talking about the different trips to WrestleMania and some of the crazy things that have happened. And there's a lot of those. And, man, I just want to thank you for coming on, and I appreciate you. And, you know, you're my brother. You know, I love you. And
you too. I love you too. I'll say I love you too this time.
there you go. All right, man. Thanks
All
a
right.
bunch, and we'll go from there.
All right.